Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling probably one of the most famous head scratchers in science, Schrödinger's cat.
Right. It pops up everywhere.
It really does. And our mission today is, well, to get past just the surface level paradox, we want to understand what Erwin Schrödinger really meant by it.
Yeah, what was his actual point? Because it's often misunderstood.
Exactly. We're drawing heavily from Anubhav Srivastava's book, Nothing Everything, which dives into this.
And the big reveal, the sort of surprising bit,
Yeah.
Schrödinger didn't propose the cat scenario seriously. It was, believe it or not, a kind of joke.
A joke, like, haha, funny.
More like intellectual satire. He was aiming it squarely at a prevailing view in quantum mechanics at the time.
Okay, let's break that down. The setup first. You've got a cat, right, sealed in a box.
The fuel box, yeah. And inside there's this mechanism, a single radioactive atom.
And it's got a 50 chance of decaying over, say, an hour if it decays.
It triggers a device, maybe releases some poison gas, cat dies. If it doesn't decay,
Cat lives. Simple enough, seems like. But the target of his joke changes things.
right. The target was the Copenhagen Interpretation. CI for short. Big deal back then. Still influential.
And CI says, what about that atom?
It says that until you measure it, until you observe it, that atom isn't definitely decayed or definitely not decayed. It's
In superposition.
exactly. It exists in a sort of probabilistic haze of both states at once. Decayed and not decayed.
Okay, weird. But that's quantum stuff. But Schrödinger links the cat to it.
Precisely. And this is his jab. If the atom is in superposition and the cat's life depends directly on the atom's state.
Then the cat must also be in superposition, alive and dead.
According to a strict reading of CI applied to this whole system, yes. Until you open that box and perform the measurement, the cat is somehow both alive and dead.
Which sounds completely bonkers for a cat.
And that was Schrödinger's entire point. He was saying, look, if your interpretation leads to this kind of absurdity when you scale it up from atoms to, cats, then maybe there's something wrong or incomplete with the interpretation itself.
So it wasn't a theory, it was a critique. He found the whole observer-dependent reality thing a bit much.
He found it deeply problematic. The idea that something as solid as a cat, or anything really, needs us looking at it to be in a definite state. He thought that was absurd.
He had that example, didn't he, about a watch?
Yeah, he sort of sarcastically suggested that if CI was the whole story, then maybe an unobserved watch could, I don't know, turn into jelly if its wave function described that possibility,
Yeah.
however unlikely.
Jelly. Okay, so he was really pushing back against the idea that reality is just probabilities until we look.
He felt things should be definite, whether we're observing them or not. And interestingly, this deep skepticism, this insistence on inherent reality, it kind of points towards later ideas.
Like many worlds.
Exactly. It resonates with the core idea of many worlds, even though MWI came later. He seemed drawn to the idea that maybe all possibilities described by the wave function are, in some sense, real, simultaneously.
Which brings us to this analogy he used later in life, something about books.
Right. In a speech in the 50s, imagine you have multiple identical copies of a book, a stack of hardcovers.
Okay, same story, same words.
The content, the essence, you could say, which is like the wave function, is identical in every single copy. But each physical book is its own separate real thing, right? It exists independently.
I see. So the wave function isn't just potential states waiting for us.
His analogy suggests it might describe actual coexisting realities. Each possibility described by quantum mechanics gets its own copy of the universe, just like each book is a real copy. They're all real, existing side by side.
That's a very different way of looking at it than Copenhagen.
Completely different. No collapse, no special role for the observer, just branching realities.
So let's bring that back to the poor cat in the box. Using this book copy idea.
Well, in our reality, the one we observe when we open the box, the cat is definitely one thing. It's either alive or it's dead. We only ever see one outcome in our branch.
But according to this many worlds-ish view that Schrödinger seemed to lean towards,
The act of the quantum event happening, or not happening, effectively splits the universe, creates different copies or branches.
so in one universe branch, the atom didn't decay, the poison wasn't released,
And the cat is alive, purring away, probably annoyed.
and in another separate, equally real universe branch.
The atom did decay, the mechanism triggered, and in that branch, the cat is sadly dead. Both outcomes happen, just in different realities.
Wow, so the cat paradox, which he invented to show the problems with one interpretation,
Ended up being maybe the best illustration for a different interpretation, one that suggests parallel worlds. It's quite ironic.
it really is. What started as a critique accidentally became a cornerstone for thinking about many worlds.
A thought experiment that took on a life, or rather multiple lives, of its own.
So the big takeaway is that Schrödinger's famous cat wasn't about zombie cats, but about the weirdness of observation in quantum theory. And it inadvertently opened the door to thinking about parallel realities where all quantum possibilities play out.
Every possibility realized somewhere.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. If every quantum coin flip creates a whole new universe, think about the sheer number and strangeness of those realities. Could there be a reality where the roles are reversed? Maybe one where, I don't know, the cat puts Schrödinger in the box and gives a lecture about him.
A philosophical cat. Now that's taken the thought experiment to a fun, absurd conclusion within that many worlds idea.
Something to ponder. Join us next time for another deep dive.